like an odd thing to cover, given that you're already here. But I do want to talk just for a brief minute about why does any of this even matter? Why does resilience matter? Why are we so focused on well-being? We are all aware of the statistics in our profession and the various risks, and we all know people and have colleagues who have experienced burnout or, mental ill health at cause of what we do for a living, or at least with this being a major contributing factor. And some of us know people who have had an even worse outcome than that and have lost their lives to these professions. And I think it's really important not just to focus on, well, duh, of course this is obvious, but I really want to actually just take that short moment to go, just in case you're not somebody that's convinced that prioritizing your well-being is worth it, just in case you're the sort of person who just keeps thinking, I can keep on keeping on and I can make this work and I can, cope. Or you're just the sort of person who goes, yeah, this isn't good enough for me, I'm out. Both of which only work for so long. So I do just want to touch very briefly on the why. Why are we even doing this? Okay. So the first one seems a little obvious. All right. Because the more we focus on our well-being and our personal mental health and our resilience, the more fulfillment we get from our jobs. And that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, of course, because the more well we are, the more fulfilled we are, the more fulfilled we are, the more well we are, and it goes round and round in circles. Whereas, of course, the opposite spiral is also true. So being somebody who focuses on this stuff is just for your profession and your professional resilience, but actually for you as a person to feel better in yourself and enjoy your life more. Secondly, obvious to some, less obvious to others, is your actual physical health, because the link between your mental health and your physical health is inextricably linked. There is no doubt about it in the science. And, whether we're talking about this from a perspective of stress or anxiety or burnout or depression or any level of emotional overload, all of those things are going to contribute very strongly to your physical health. So if you want to think of the most obvious scenario, chronic stress releases a lot of cortisol for an extended period of time. Picture your small white fluffy dog with Cushing's. All right. And that's effectively what you're doing to yourself. If you want to end up with your tummy hanging on the floor and no hair left and gastrointestinal issues and reproductive issues and ocular issues, and think of your Cushing's dog. And that is effectively what's happening on the inside of somebody with chronic overload of cortisol release. So your physical health matters. And if you can't prioritize your mental well-being for its own sake, then think of your physical health. But if you're someone who's still young enough to not yet know the importance of your physical health, then you can think about it in terms of your teams and organizational success. The more fulfilled you are, the more well you are, the more engaged you are, and the better job you do by the animals that we work with. The more engaged you are as a veterinary professional, the more likely you are to, make good calls, not make mistakes, notice things, be able to problem solve complicated things, go out of your way to find more detail, ask owners really good questions and not just take their superficial answers. Notice when they're resisting and work with them to improve compliance or contextual care. Whereas when we are overwhelmed, when we're exhausted, when we're frustrated, when we're burning out, we tend to do none of that. We tend to do minimum emotional engagement, which means we miss things and we overlook things. We're not giving our clients the same experience and we're not giving our patients the same outcomes. The same is true in an animal shelter. If you are showing up half of yourself, the animals are not getting from you the things that you're there for. They're not getting somebody who can give them all of the care that they need, who can do a great job, who can advocate for them. So you're actually going to be better at your job if you're good at this. The last one, though, the one that I think I personally like to touch on just because I don't think it's as obvious, is because the less you focus on your well-being now, the less you can actually help animals in the long run. And this is the argument that I use for people who cannot be convinced that their own personal, physical, or mental health or their organization's success is worth it. The argument that I tend to use is for if you think about the reasons you got into this profession, and for a vast proportion of us, that's going to be because I loved animals. If you're in a leadership space, might be because you wanted to help, you wanted to do a good job, you wanted to make things better for your people. But the thing is, you can do that today. You can help one more animal. You can fix one more thing. You can fit in one more spay. You can take home those extra notes. You can do that one more difficult conversation or fix that one more thing for your staff. And that's great. Today, that helps that one animal. And you might help 3 or 4 more animals this week. And you might help 50 or 60 more animals this year. And for each of those individuals, that is valuable and worthwhile. The problem is, you can't do that forever. It's not sustainable. And there will come a point where, because you have chosen to help that one extra animal do that one extra thing, you're going to either leave the profession or disengage and switch off and not be bringing your full self to work anymore. And therefore, you're actually not going to be helping that many animals in the long run anyway. So, if you can't be convinced to help yourself for the sake of helping yourself, then I want to challenge you to ask, what is your bigger goal? To help one more animal today, or to help as many animals as you can over a career? Because you are going to, by far and away, a millionfold, do more good for the animals you're trying to help if you have a long and fulfilling and engaged career, because it's sustainable. So, my challenge to you is to ask yourselves the questions: what's standing in your way of doing this and prioritizing this? What is it that is stopping you? And try to get one of these arguments to get you across the line.